How's it going, everyone? King Blacktooth here, and I'm going to commentate for another match from Gamescom 2016. Now, in this particular one, they decided to move the UI around all over the place during the middle of the game, and some of it was quite obnoxious. I've tried to edit all that out, so hopefully it's a nice clean footage. There is one or two parts where I'm going to have to say, he played that, and this came out, etc. But, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Sit back and relax. And I'd like to thank everyone, just before we get going, that, you know, you've all shown great support for these, and my videos so far, so I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's go, shall we? So in this particular match, we are playing Skellige versus Northern Realms. Now, if you're fighting against Northern Realms, they tend to be on either the melee or the siege row at the moment, so Skellige would obviously want to choose Torrential Rain. They probably won't have that in their deck, that's probably the least used weather card, but they might have Skellige Storm, which gives them a choice between range and siege, so that'll be a really good option for the Skellige player. Northern Realms player seems to be very promotion heavy, so the weather might not even work in that case. Okay, so it's Northern Realms goes first, and we can see Skellige has Harold the Cripple, and Northern Realms has Foltest, which is an amazing hero power. So the first play did play a spy. That's a reasonable opener. We could maybe expect him to give up the first round, depending on how much he's given the opponent. He does have another spy in his hand, the Northern Realms player, so we could see a pass early on, just to gain some card advantage. As the Skellige player, a Crown on Crate Warrior is a good one to put down first. You might get scorched. It is protected by the spy. Both the spies are 8 strength now, so he could, you know, decide to scorch both those spies if he wants to. He doesn't have it in his hand. But Clan on Crate is good because even if he gets removed in some way, that's good because hopefully you've got medics to back him up. So we saw he's got quite a few cards now. No weather cards here. Just a lot of promotion. He's got a full set of Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry. The Skellige's chosen to put his own spy down. And as I mentioned, the Northern Realms was passing early because it's too far of a lead, 22 strength, for him to really worry about. So Ulderic gives him a card from the opponent's graveyard. Really bad play because the opponent hasn't even got a card in his graveyard. So that was just probably a new person's mistake there. Northern Realms lost the round, so not only did he get 2 spies worth of cards, he also got a card from his deck ability for losing, which he got another medic. So Northern Realms deck hand at the minute is so high in card advantage, it's really, really powerful. So at this point, the Skellige player is about to play Hjalmar, which is a 15 strength hero. Really good, just basic, good strength on the board. Because of that pretty obnoxious piece of UI there, it covered it up. And Roach came onto the board because he comes onto the board anytime a hero is played, which was, you know, pretty beneficial. I don't think you'll see much of him in proper decks because it's just 4 strength. He does keep coming back, but I really don't feel like he's going to be that used when the game releases, in my opinion. Now, the Northern Realms player has chosen to play his Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry. Now, I agree that he should use them, but not right now. He's got a Commander's Horn and he's got an Encouraged person for the siege row. So he should be placing these guys down first so that this guy is a much harder threat and so he can bait Scorches out. So he should have played definitely a Commander's Horn, possibly the Kaedwani Siege Expert in order to give it +2. Because it's going to promote itself to a hero just now, and it would have been at least 12, maybe 16 strength if you'd have put those 2 cards down first. So again, you shouldn't really be playing another one straight off the bat, because again, that's wasting the potential strength. You want to really kind of bait out the Scorches with those guys, in my opinion, if the opponent has a Scorch. And even if he doesn't, you want high strength, you know. You could easily get them to 20. With the cards he's got in his hand, you can probably get them to about 16. And so the opponent did play a Scorch behind that man, and did get rid of one of the Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry. I like Dunbanner Heavy Cavalries because they make the opponent be proactive with their Scorches or Weathers, in which case you can sort of try and protect your really powerful stuff for later in the game by making them use it against these guys. So that's the card he should have placed down earlier. We also saw a Tordarok, I think that's Armorsmith, on the melee row. That's not doing anything, but hopefully he will have more melees coming in. It will buff up on the Skellige side. And a Cambi is played. Now, this is a very interesting card. It's basically putting a 3-turn timer. I did notice the timer didn't activate for the Skellige's turn when it got placed. So the timer starts at the end of each round, end of each turn, sorry. And it will wipe all non-hero unit cards and glyphs from the board. So the Northern Realms player has played a Medic. And this allows him to pick between whatever's in his graveyard, which happens to be Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry or Alderic. Now, the Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry is going to be 8 strength on the board because he's got a Kaedwani Encourage card. And, it could promote itself to hero, which is good. It could force the Skellige player to play a Scorch or a Weather, so it could be good in that respect as well. I would have very much liked to see, if he chooses that card, a Commander's Horn placed down first, because then it will go up to about 16 strength, which is amazing. Now, if he chooses Alderic, the question I've got for you as the viewer, if you've been watching this, can you remember what he has in his graveyard? From what he's played on round 1, what cards are in his graveyard that are worth taking? Because at the minute there doesn't seem like there's any UI to sort of allow him to check the graveyard at this particular point. He's kind of got himself into an area where he's got to make a choice. He played the Medic. Now, he could have checked the graveyard before playing the Medic, which he could have done. But at this point, there doesn't seem to be a way to check the graveyard. So, what cards has he got in the graveyard? Do you remember? Which card out of these two would you pick? We'll see what he picks. So he's chosen the Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry, which will be 8 strength on the board. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't get a chance to buff that any higher before it promotes itself, because he didn't preemptively put down the Commander's Horn. And we just saw Cambi there count down. It actually physically counts down with its own strength. So it goes 3 to 2 to 1 and then wipes all non-hero unit cards from the board and glyphs. There isn't really that much strength on both sides. There's 10 that will disappear for Northern Realms and 4 for Skellige. So I don't think Cambi worked particularly well. It's going to be a hard card to use. The Northern Realms player did actually play pretty well, I think, by placing a lot of promotion cards to sort of defend against that Cambi after it was played. And Skellige passed, and so is Northern Realms. Well done. Now, Skellige's deck ability on round 3, they get a card from their graveyard back into their hand. As an opponent to Skellige, you can see that, so they can see that he's got a spy. Now, you may want to prioritize trying to get rid of that card earlier, because your opponent can build a little bit more strategy around knowing what that card is, so they can work around it. So the faster you can get that card out, the more mysterious your hand will be. So he gets to choose another card here. He's placed down another Dunbanner, and again, he hasn't Commander's Horn, which he should have done first, to make it up to at least 12 strength or so, in my opinion. Wow, 16 strength. That Northern Realms Spy. That is a lot of strength you're giving the opponent. Now, the thing is, has the Skellige player got a Scorch or a Weather? I'm pretty sure he hasn't got any Weather cards. He would have used them already. Scorch, it's looking unlikely, but he apparently saved one. Still, if he'd have put down the Commander's Horn first, that would have been a 12 there for free. Oh, we got Shani. Shani is a medic which auto promotes someone as well. So you can promote a spy that you place on the opponent's side or whatever. He shows Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry. And it actually got buffed by the Commander's Horn before the promotion. So that's really important. It tells us that promotion is one of the last abilities to get put on, which is really, really interesting. And Roach came out because the heroes played. So that was Roach is doing okay. I think he's got about 8 strength out of that so far. Oh, Sigfrida. No. I mean, it seemed good. It's definitely good that he did that first. He should have definitely played Harold the Cripple leader card first. That gives +4 strength to everyone in the graveyard, in his graveyard. It would have actually been better if he'd have used it on the end of the previous round, because then he would have wasted a turn and buffed it ready for that spy. Although you don't want that. That's actually a point. You don't want the spy to get buffed by +4 because he placed it on the opponent's side. So it would have been 12 doubled by Commander's Horn, 24 strength. He did end up scorching it anyway, but you know, that's something you got to be careful of. Harold the Cripple giving +4 strength to spies that you might pull out is dangerous. So a lot of cards have been played here. Tordorok, I think they're armor smiths, giving that clan on crate a lot of nice strength there. Siegfried is going up, which is good. It's looking actually pretty good on the Skellige side. The Northern Round side is doing well. You've got Odrin there, and he just went from like 48 strength because he was on the entirety of the best row he could be on, the Siege, and he went to the worst row he could be on. Odrin changes rows each turn, so you know I don't feel like Odrin. He's funny, I like the idea, but they need to make him better. Give him everyone +4 maybe. Or something. They need to make him better because he's just like an unreliable encourage card at the minute. He does have 6 strength himself, which is reasonable. 2 strength higher than most other people. So we've got a medic here. The medic is going to pull out a spy, but the spy's got +4 strength from Harold the Cripple. So it was on 8 strength. That's how strong Dijkstra is. 8 strength, but then it got buffed to 12 strength, and then it's got +2 from that armor smith. So, oh my god, that was a worse play possibly be. And again, he probably should have used Ermion earlier. I think he got it from a spy though, so that's fine. Didn't get lucky. None of the cards actually, because some of the cards in the Skellige deck can get pulled from the deck to the graveyard, and if they get pulled that way, they get played automatically. So, in my opinion, Northern Realms shouldn't play that Reaver Scout, because it plays special cards, it plays heroes. You really don't want a Scorch coming out at the minute because it will really wreck your highest strength, 14 strength spy that you've got. So it's good that he didn't play that. And he's put down another Kaedwani Siege Expert, which is exactly the right choice, because that's going to give you the most strength in my opinion. Okay, he's chose another Priest and he's going to pull out the Spy, which I think he can't do anything about at this point, but he did actually managed to get that activated. So the Spy is giving the opponent tons of strength, which is bad. I don't think he can win at this point, Skellige. But it draws 1 card from the deck into your hand and 1 card from the deck into your graveyard. And that particular card, Drake, if he gets pulled from the deck to the graveyard, he gets played instantly, as you saw. It was too late. He gave him too much strength with the Spies. You know, it might be worth, if you're going to give them 16 strength with a Spy, it's not really worth, no matter what card is coming out, it's not worth it. If it's a Scorch, yeah, you could like Scorch the card, but then what's the point? You've wasted a turn, I guess, is the only advantage, unless there's other 16 strength you can Scorch at the same time. But that was pretty good. A few misplays there with the order in which Harold the Cripple played and giving the opponents too many. You know, just keep playing Spies was detrimental. You're giving them way too much strength. You take away all the Spies that were placed on the Northern Round side, they might have been reasonable. So at the end of this video, I just want to open a discussion on the use of deck trackers. So there's a couple of areas in this game where deck tracker could have been useful. When you're pulling Ulderic out of your discard pile, what cards are in the opponent's graveyard, for example? What cards have you got left in your deck? That might be useful for certain areas, like knowing when to play Ermion, who would pull 4 cards out of your deck into your graveyard. You know, you could play the odds a little bit better if you knew exactly what cards were left in your deck. Maybe knowing how many Scorches the opponent's played throughout the game. You know, if they played 2, what are the odds they're going to have a third one, you know? Hearthstone has had a deck tracker for a long time, and anyone who plays above casual, I think, uses it, don't they? Blizzard seem to be fine with it because they say all of the stuff that deck tracker does could be done on pen and paper, which is fine. Like, they have the deck on the side of the screen. That's the only reason I want a deck tracker in Gwent, to show the deck, my deck, on the side of the screen, and to track stats like how many times this deck won, how many spies do I get on average during a game, you know, my win-loss ratio with certain decks against certain classes, against certain, you know, archetypes and stuff. I think that'd be really interesting information that I would really like to have. But Hearthstone also has, when the opponent has a secret, it gives you a list of possible secrets it could be, and then when you start hitting your minions into their face, it would narrow the choice down a bit, which is, I think, is a bit iffy, that one, because that's like supposed to be skill. That's, you know, you've memorized the game, you know what cards are in the game. You could write down all the secrets and check them, or check a website, which people do. But it could also, in Hearthstone, I think it might tell you, you know, have they played 2 Flame Strikes? It might tell you that, because you can only have 2 of every card in your deck. So if they played 2, then you know they haven't got another one, so you can play, you know, fully. And you might not remember whether they had one. I just wanted to open a dialogue on whether you think that is something you'd like to see, because there's a lot of modders we've seen with The Witcher 3, so there definitely probably is going to be one. I personally want one just so I can show my deck on the side of the screen, because I'm a streamer, so I think people would like to see that. If they don't release one, which they won't at the beginning, I'm going to find another way to put my deck on the side of the screen so people can see it. But also, I would very much like to track my statistics, like win-loss ratio against certain factions. It'd be really interesting information that you could hope would improve your deck, and find statistics on what are the best decks and stuff. But yeah, so what do you think? Would you use the deck tracker? What would you think is going a bit too far? I think maybe knowing how many Scorches the opponent has played in this particular game is going too far. If you can't remember that they played 2 Scorches, and you're thinking, okay, did they play 1 or 2? Should I play this high strip guy or not? Because, well, that's your fault. You know, if you've not paid attention to the game, then that's your fault. A deck tracker shouldn't tell you that, you know, they've played 3 Scorches, you can do what the fuck you want. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know. Take care, everyone.